Good evening, ladies and gentlemen. My name is Riku Mukherjee. That is my partner in crime, Chris Caldwell. We are back for the Fantasy Football Show, Week 8, Week 7 recap going into Week 8. Sorry we've been out of commission the last few weeks. Chris got married, he went on his honeymoon. We've been busy, a lot of things going on. We haven't had a chance to do a show. Yes, show off your wedding ring there. But we're back talking Week 7 NFL. A lot of things have been happening in the NFL over the last few weeks. We'll hopefully touch on the things that you want to hear about. If you have any questions, please leave them in the comments. Me and Chris are here to answer any fantasy questions you got. Chris, my man, how does it feel to be a married man?
Dude, it's crazy. Just been so busy past 4 or 5 weeks. So sorry that I couldn't get on and chat with you, but been back from the honeymoon for a few weeks, getting back in the swing of things. So it's time to start focusing on football. How you doing so far this year?
Pretty bad. Just
Dude,
in
I
general,
I
it's
want
pretty rough.
I want to know who's winning because it's like everyone I see on Twitter or like all my friends and stuff, everyone's like, "Oh man, it's such a crappy year for fantasy." And it really is. It's like scoring's down in the NFL, what it's like 30 some percent from last year. So it's just like let's chalk it up to no one's doing good.
Yeah, I don't really know. I mean, I guess you just had some injury luck, and I think the main thing this year, so far from what I can tell, is just got hit on your wide receivers because it looks like running backs in general just like kind of not doing much. I mean, we have a couple here and there that have good weeks and stuff, but I really haven't seen much consistency out of the running back position. I mean, besides maybe Saquon, I guess he's probably been the most consistent fantasy back.
Chubb, yeah.
Chubb, yeah, I guess, but even Chubb, it's like, are you really like excited to see what Chubb's going to do every week with a split backfield a ton? I don't know, man. It's been a really down year for running back, so hopefully you guys went wide receiver heavy this year. So I don't really have many other takes other than the fact that other than the Bills and Chiefs, I mean everything's been kind of mediocre in the NFL. And the Eagles, sorry, Eagles, Bills, and Chiefs. Everyone else has been pretty mediocre in the NFL. What do you think about that?
Yeah, parity, parity, parity. It's what the NFL wants. It's what they got. I swear they want every game to be within 6 or 7 points, and they want the playoff race to come down to the last 2 weeks, like it always does. That's where the money's at. That's where the excitement is. So yeah, I mean that's what you get with a salary cap too, right? So salary cap league, and it's just exciting. Anyone can literally beat anyone week in and week out. We saw that with the Panthers absolutely beating the brakes off the Bucks last week, and watch the Bucks will beat the Ravens this week. It's the NFL.
That's my lock of the week, man. I love the Ravens tomorrow. I think they're gonna smoke the Bucks tomorrow, but that's just I don't know. I usually don't. I'm not too confident about games, but Bucks just look absolutely broken. I don't know what's going on with them. I don't know if it's Tom Brady going through a divorce. I don't know what it is, but I think Ravens go into town and beat up on the Bucks tomorrow night.
You think he can lose 3 in a row?
I mean, I mean, how many times has he done that in his career? Not many, but
Mm-hmm.
yeah, I think he can. I think they're a pretty broken team. I don't really know what's wrong with them. They're really banged up too. I think they're missing like a good chunk of their defensive backfield. So we should be able to pick them apart. But before we move on, I just wanted to say, Jake, Mike, wearing your Bills jersey. We lost a little bet a few weeks ago when the Ravens lost to the Bills at home. So I promised you guys I would wear the Bills jersey for you Bills Mafia fans out there. So I'm wearing it. It doesn't feel comfortable wearing a Bills jersey, especially a Mario Williams jersey. I don't really know where he is nowadays, but I'm here. I'm in blue and white, and after this show, I'll put it back in a box and give it back to Mike and put my purple and black back on.
I don't know, man. You look kind of comfortable in it. Like you even went and got a matching hat that
I know I did. I had to
what
get the
the
matching hat.
It's messed
Yeah,
up.
yeah. But yeah, what if I told you, Chris, at the beginning of the year, like, what would your reaction to this be? In week 8, this upcoming week, that the only game on the NFL slate where two teams are playing each other that have winning records would be the New York Giants versus the Seattle Seahawks.
Is that really true?
That is absolutely true. The only
That
game this week where both teams have a winning record.
That's wild because before the season started, both those teams were in the conversation for, the number one overall pick. They can
Mhm.
both get their QB of the future. That's why Seattle just straight up didn't draft a QB this year, and the Giants didn't either.
Yeah.
So it's like I feel like they were both holding out for 2023's draft class, and now they're good.
Now they're good. Brian Daboll is like looking like he's the front runner for Coach of the Year. What he's doing with New York, and Seattle, man, they made the right decision there, trading Russell Wilson away, who looks like absolute dust, stockpiling draft picks for the future. And now I don't even know if I should say this or not, but is Geno Smith the best quarterback in the NFC West? Is he? Is he? I think he is.
I mean, this year so far, there's no
Yeah.
argument, right? I mean, the guy's playing out of his mind. Like
Yeah.
this is crazy, and it's like, um, at the beginning of the year, we were saying like, there's no way Geno Smith can make either Tyler Lockett or DK Metcalf a wide receiver one. Now he can make both.
Yeah.
DK's hurt, but the guy absolutely slings it. He's
We,
amazing.
we didn't we didn't even know if he was going to be the starting quarterback for the Seahawks at the beginning of the
I
year.
I
We thought
had
it was
I
going to be
had
Drew Lock.
I had Drew Lock everywhere as like
Yeah,
a cheap QB3 in a lot of leagues, so
yeah,
that backfired.
pretty wild. The NFL's been pretty crazy so far this year. And I guess the big news of this past week, we'll get into our game recaps in a little bit, but we're just kind of recapping the last few weeks. But I guess the big news from this past week is Christian McCaffrey being traded to the 49ers. Obviously he's been a perennial top 5, top 10 running back in fantasy over the last few years, and now he's moving to an offense where, Mike Shanahan. I mean, not Mike. Yeah, but is it Mike? Yeah, Kyle Shanahan.
Kyle.
Sorry. Yeah, Kyle Shanahan's like a godsend when it comes to running backs. And if you ask me, I think his fantasy prospects for the rest of the year are just going to be phenomenal. I think he's going to be a top 5 running back the rest of the year.
Yeah, I was gonna ask you that question. Thanks for bringing it up.
Yeah.
So you think this is definitely a click up for him?
Yeah.
Because in Carolina he kind of had it going for him where he was, the absolute he was the running back one and the wide receiver one. And so in San Fran, Ayuk's looked pretty good this year. Debo, is going to get his carries, going to get his looks. You have Kittle coming on the past couple weeks. He does have competition, so he's going to have to be really efficient, but that's easy to do in the 49ers offense. So
Yeah.
it's kind of like a trade-off. He's going to have to be super efficient with his touches.
Yeah, I mean, in Carolina, he was seeing the field like 90% of the snaps like all the time. So the volume may not be as great in San Francisco, but I just think in that offense, especially with Jimmy Garoppolo being like kind of a check down kind of guy at times, he's going to be really looking forward to getting Christian McCaffrey involved in the offense. And um, yeah, I mean, we'll answer this question right here from Ryan. Does CMC on the Niners hurt Debo's value? Um, I think a little bit, just because now I think they're just going to primarily use Debo as a wide receiver and not a running back anymore. I don't think they're going to line him up in the backfield at all anymore to get any carries. So maybe just a little, but I think Debo is just a phenomenal player in general. So I don't think there's any way that you would ever bench Debo or think about trading him or anything like that. I think he's a good fantasy player the rest of the year, no matter what. What do you think?
I agree. Maybe one or two less touches a game for him, but this makes the 49ers offense better, which means more touchdown looks. So I don't know. I'd say indifferent. If anything, it might help it. This offense is going to be humming, man. So
Yeah,
a lot of scoring opportunities.
I agree. I think after this move, even though they got the doors blown off of them by the Chiefs this past week, I think the Niners are probably the favorite to win the NFC West. And, we'll see. Let me pull up this comment right here. Mr. Waking Up says, I think the biggest surprise is the Giants 5-1 start. I'll just say the biggest surprise for me overall for the year is just the NFC East in general. We got 3 really hot teams there with the Cowboys, Giants, and Eagles who are undefeated. They've gone from the worst division in football to the best division in football in the matter of 2 years. So pretty surprising, especially with Dak being out for a while and Cooper Rush coming in and being serviceable and winning 4 games in a row. And now they get Dak back. So yeah, man, the NFC East in general is pretty surprising to me.
And the AFC West being not that great.
And the AFC West being not that great. We thought the Chargers and the Broncos and the Raiders, for that matter, would be way better than what what they are right now. It looks like that division is the Chiefs to lose at this point. They're clearly the best team in that division. But we'll see. We're going into week 8 now. We got a lot of football left. Do you have any other big surprises? Anything that you want to discuss before we start our recaps?
No, I think that's the big two is Giants being so good. I guess Mike made a good point in the chat. The Bucks and the Packers, having down years. I thought the Packers were going to contend in the NFC. I mean,
Yeah.
I know they lost Devontae Adams, but I think Rodgers is good enough to prop any receiver up. But they have two great running backs, and and they were supposed to have top 10, maybe top 5 defense in the NFL, and just nothing's coming together for them. It's really surprising, but I'm not going to count them out yet. When it gets cold is kind of when they start to take over. But yeah, Bucks and Packers, huge surprise. I mean, tomorrow is going to make or break the Bucks season. They if they lose this game, they're
See,
they're not looking great.
you say that, but is it really? Like, I feel like the Bucks can just like play mediocre football and cruise into the playoffs.
What's their record right now?
They're
Three
500.
and
They're 500. Like they're
no, I can't. 3-4. It might be
3-4. No, it can't be 3-4.
4-3.
Oh, let's see here. The Bucks are 3-4, and the Ravens are 4-3. Yeah. So I don't know. I mean, that division is so bad. Saints and Falcons and Panthers aren't scaring anybody. So I don't know.
You're right. They can still make it. They'll rattle off 4 out of 5 to end the year or something stupid.
Yeah. All right. Mike was telling me my mic isn't sounding the greatest, but I guess we're just gonna keep rolling with it. Okay. I don't know what's going on with my mic, but
Yeah, you have a little
Mike.
crackle going on, but I don't
Okay.
know what it
Well,
is.
Mike, let me know if it doesn't get any better, then I might refresh my browser or something like that. But we'll see. Okay. Anyways, we're gonna get into our recap from week 7, talking about some specific games here. We'll lead it off with the Thursday night game, Arizona Cardinals versus the New Orleans Saints from last Thursday. Pretty high scoring game, 42-34 win for the Cardinals. This is a game where they got their biggest weapon in DeAndre Hopkins back, who had a really good game. A lot of scoring in this game, a lot of garbage time touchdowns. The Cardinals pretty much dominated this whole game. Benjamin doing his thing in replace of James Conner, who's been out with an injury. A lot of good yardage from Chris Olave, touchdowns for Juwan Johnson on the other side of the ball. What are your takes on this game? Because up until this game, the Cardinals had looked pretty bad. So what are your takes after this game?
Yeah, my immediate take was I'm so glad that Benjamin finally got a chance to start a game and be the lead back for a game. I've been holding on to that name. You probably remember I was talking about him 2 years ago. Love that guy. I swear he could be a starting running back. We'll see what James Conner's health is looking like. I think he tried to warm up last game, so I would assume Connor comes back for this week. But Benjamin looking like a really good handcuff to have, and if Connor's ever out, must start. Hopkins came right back in, and it looked like Kyler Murray. So half of his completions were to Hopkins, and he was just looking his way immediately every time. Rondale Moore, who had tons of targets the last couple of weeks, was basically phased out of the game plan. It's going to be Hopkins' team while Hollywood Brown's injured for the next month now. As for the Saints, you said my main takeaway, Chris Olave. The dude's just amazing. I don't care if Michael Thomas comes back. I would trade. I'd rather have Chris Olave. I'd rather start him on a weekly basis. He's wide receiver 17 on the year. He's just completely in a rookie season with no quarterback. You shouldn't be putting up numbers like this, and he is. Guy's an absolute stud. Buy in fantasy if you can. Probably can't, but yeah, that's my main takeaways from this game.
I wanted to ask you about Michael Thomas. Is he like dust? Like what is up with him? Like, is he gonna play again, or like even if he does play, is he any good? Like, I don't know.
He's missed what 4 straight games
Yeah.
with a foot injury, but it's not the same foot that kept him out the last couple of years. So I don't know. I mean, he's just super fragile, and I don't know his deal, man. I have him on a couple teams, and I'm not willing to cut him yet until there's more concrete news on what's going on with him. But yeah, I think even when he comes back, I don't think it's going to hurt Olave. He's kind of cemented himself as the number one receiver there.
I agree, and even before Andy Dalton came in, who was supplanting James Winston, he was getting a lot of air yards, like downfield shots to Olave. I think he's their big threat guy. So even though that offense is not the greatest in the world, I mean they're still going to score points. I think, and I think he's a great wide receiver, like you said, to target. I don't really have that much fear if you want to also buy on Kamara too. I think Kamara is a good buy low spot because he hasn't been the greatest. He had one good game a couple weeks ago, but overall for the year he hasn't been the greatest. So if you are in running back help and you need a running back, I would try to target someone like Alvin Kamara.
Is there a player in the NFL more misused or underused than Alvin Kamara? It's so freaking frustrating
Yeah,
because I, why don't what's their
they
record right
just have
now?
it. They just
Just
have
trade
it.
him. Just let him trade him to another team. I don't know.
Yeah, he's two. They're 2-5. I mean, they haven't used him properly since Drew Brees was in town, and I think Drew Brees knew how to properly use him with Sean Payton because he's obviously a great pass catching running back. So they just don't use him that well out of the backfield anymore. So I don't know. He'll get his touches and stuff like that, and we'll see how it goes. What's up, Sean? Thanks for joining the show, Sean from Red, White, and Bills in the house. Yeah. I want to talk about the Cardinals for a second. So obviously they haven't looked the greatest this year. Um, they haven't had the full complement of players. They haven't had a game where everyone is healthy on that team. But do you think they're a contender for the playoffs moving forward? Do you think they're just kind of a blah team? Do you think they'll be a team that finishes under 500? What do you think? Because they're going to get Hollywood Brown back. They still don't know how to use Rondell Moore properly. That's just a weird thing. And James Conner's coming back too this week, so they'll have a nice healthy backfield as well. So, what do you think?
I'm not counting them out because Hopkins is back. He's the heart and soul of their team. Believe it or not their quarterback.
Yeah,
Um, and Kyler Murray has not played good this year,
no,
and they're still somewhat hanging in there, right? So if they can get Hollywood back, they have Hopkins back, they can get Connor healthy. The defense has looked, really good in some spots. Who's the linebacker they have from Clemson? That guy's freaking amazing. But anyway, I don't know. I'm not counting them out. I refuse to. I think we've seen what happens in 5 or 6 game stretches when Kyler just gets hot, and it's still there. It can happen.
yeah. All right,
Cliff
yeah.
Kingsbury kind of he was
He's a terrible coach.
but remember like 2 or 3 years ago when he was like the godsend.
Yeah. I guess he was the fresh new college coach, and I don't know. He's kind of a dummy in my eyes now. But Sean's asking, do you trade Alvin Kamara for Jonathan Taylor? Um, I'll let you answer this first because my answer I think is going to be different than yours. But go ahead. I'll let you answer first.
In a PPR league, it's really close. I mean, um, hold on. Have they already had their bye?
I don't know.
Hold on, I'm looking.
Forget about the buy situation. Like, who do you think is the better running back moving forward this year?
Well, I'm looking down at my sheet for the show tonight, and my number one buy low is Jonathan Taylor. So I won't overrule myself, and I will say yes, trade Kamara for Jonathan Taylor. In a PPR league, it's probably pretty close though.
Yeah.
But I would say take Taylor. There's more upside. Ellinger's coming in at quarterback. There's no way they can let him sling the rock 40 times a game. Taylor's going to get all you can eat for the rest of the year.
So I was just about to touch on that right there. If you would have asked me this last week, I would have said no because I was so down on Jonathan Taylor. Not only has he been hurt, but he's. I think the Colts are one of the worst teams in the NFL. I think Matt Ryan's the worst quarterback in the NFL. And now that they've actually officially benched Matt Ryan and brought in Sam Ellinger, who I think is an upgrade at quarterback. I loved watching him in college. He was a great college quarterback. I think he's going to make this team better. But you're right. They're not going to let him go out there and sling it 40 times a game. So Taylor's going to kind of eat a little bit now. And I think the best thing for a new quarterback coming into the league is basically having a good check down running back as well. So I think he's going to get some catches as well. So right now, after the benching of Matt Ryan, I would trade Alvin Kamara for Jonathan Taylor. That's my answer there.
Yeah, don't overthink it. Jonathan Taylor was the number 1 overall pick in fantasy drafts. We're only a month and a half after you drafted, so not that much has changed. Okay, so
all right, let's move on. In our recaps, we're going to talk about the Browns and the Ravens. Ravens get a kind of an ugly win.
Do you see Sean's?
What's that?
You traded Higgins. Oh my God, I couldn't do that. Oh boy,
Higgins and ETN for Jonathan Taylor. Eey. Man, did you do this after the James Robinson news or before the James Robinson news?
I was gonna say, if you just did that this week after James Robinson got traded, I don't think I can agree with you here, buddy.
Yeah,
I don't know that I would trade ETN for Taylor, even straight up. I mean, ETN. I had to wear the shirt, dude. His last 3 games, he's like Alvin Kamara from 3 years ago. The guy's absolutely electricity. Yeah. And now he has no competition in the backfield. He's gonna go wild.
Yep. All right. Ravens win an ugly game at home. They try to blow it again. They've blown multiple double-digit second half leads this year already. They try to do it again at home against the Browns again to Jacoby Brissett, and somehow they managed to pull off a win. I'm very, very. I mean, everyone knows that I've been pretty frustrated with the Ravens so far this year, but they are, even at this point, with a frustrating season, they should be 7-0. I don't even think that's even a question. They should be 7-0. There's each game they should have won. They just blew a couple games. I looked at Vegas odds this morning. They are still the 3rd favorite behind the Chiefs and the Bills to win the AFC. But yeah. Lamar hasn't looked the same the last few weeks. Mark Andrews had a pretty down game this week.
Down as you can get.
Yeah, as down as you can get.
No catches.
Been a little banged up, so we'll see. He's a little questionable to go tomorrow as well. But I think the big news in this game was Gus Edwards coming back and looking good, looking spry, looking healthy, scoring 2 touchdowns, and I think, I don't know what you think, but I think moving forward, he's probably going to be our RB1 the rest of the season.
Yeah, I mean, that might be a long shot. I still think, we really like what we have in Dobbins. He's going to be out, 3 or 4 weeks, but I think I'll stick with Dobbins, after he comes back over Gus, but can't argue with the way the guy ran the ball, and he looks like he's in outstanding shape as well. So, hey, he got 16 carries his first game back, got in the end zone twice, looked good doing it. I picked up Kenyon Drake in multiple leagues and started him. 11 carries for 5 yards just absolutely put me down. I did not think that they were going to give Gus that kind of workload on his first week back. That really shocked me. But yeah, my 2 biggest takeaways from the Ravens side is the fact that Lamar had 16 pass attempts. Yeah. Which is, I don't know, what our game plan was wild. And Mark Andrews had no catches. So we must have went into this game saying we're going to win or lose by the run with a Kenyon Drake-led running offense. But, yeah, it's if you look at the box score, you'd say there's no way the Ravens won this game.
Yeah, but the funny thing is that, once again, like we just said, they had a double-digit point lead in the second half. So they kind of did, dominate this game. And it's not like the Browns. We didn't have a turnover this game, right? Yeah, when there was no turnovers this game. So
we fumbled.
No, I mean, like, we didn't get a turnover this game. Like, the Browns didn't get a turnover.
The Browns didn't turn the ball over.
No, I don't remember them.
Yeah, we had a sack fumble on their side of the field.
Okay, yeah. So I guess that was the difference in the game then. There. But from a fantasy aspect, I like Gus Edwards moving forward. He is questionable to play tomorrow, but we'll see what kind of load he gets tomorrow. So excited to see that. On the other side of the ball, man, Nick Chubb does it week in and week out. I don't know how he's doing it in that backfield with Kareem Hunt, but the guy's just putting up fantasy numbers. I think he's RB1 on the year. Is that right? He's
That is
RB1 on
right.
the year.
By 7
Yep.
points. Yeah.
Yep. RB1 on the year. And yeah, I mean, I'm actually very surprised by that. I don't know how you feel about that, but I'm super surprised that Nick Chubb is RB1 on the year.
Well, in standard leagues, in PPR leagues, he's getting absolutely smoked by Austin Eckler because he catches 10 balls every game.
True, true. Yeah, I mean, tell me what you think about the Browns side of the ball.
Yeah, so huge rumors that Kareem Hunt's going to get traded. The Browns are 2-5. I wouldn't give up yet if I were them. I think they should hang in there for another week or two, but then again, the trading deadline is when it is. It's next
Yeah,
Tuesday. So I think if they lose this week, Kareem Hunt looks to be a goner on Monday or Tuesday. They didn't play him much at all in Baltimore. They might just be saving him, not wanting to get hurt, just in case they lose. They can get something for him. But he had his worst game of the year by far this past week. So I actually kind of like Kareem Hunt as like an odd kind of buy low right
yeah.
now because if he goes somewhere, it's probably to be the man, right? So,
Hmm.
and he still has a lot left in the tank. So Kareem Hunt, I think, coming off his worst game of the year, is like a sneaky little buy right now. If he's sitting on someone's bench and they're not even really using him, see if you can do a trade for Kareem Hunt.
Yeah.
Yeah,
All right, let's catch up on some questions here. First question is from Yasir. He says, 12-man league. I got Amon Ra, T. Higgins, and Keenan Allen. I got Marquise Brown on IR coming back. Should I sell Marquise to someone dumb, or should I just keep him just in case injuries?
I I don't like selling people when they're at their low value.
Yeah.
So if you have an IR spot and he's not taking a roster spot, he's not hurting you. Just leave him there. I mean, he was like wide receiver 5 when he got hurt. Just leave him
Yeah,
there.
and it's not like your trio of wide receivers there are the healthiest guys in the world. All three of them are hurt or have been
Hmm.
hurt in the last like few weeks. So I would hold on to him. I wouldn't trade him unless you're like desperately needing a running back or something like that and can get something for him. But yeah, I'm on Raw. T. Higgins, Keenan Allen's a good wide receiver trio. They've been hurt, so I would hold on to him. All right, let's move on here. Ryan says, "Is the Gus bus rolling against the Bucks?" He sure is. He's questionable, but it looks like he looks like he logged a practice today, and he's gonna play tomorrow. So, fire him up if you have him.
For sure. Bucks just
When
gave up a shit ton of rushing yards to the Panthers.
Yeah, so Sean asked, when is Jamison Williams returning?
Wish I knew, bro.
Yeah, we were gonna talk about. I was gonna talk about that in the waiver section, but um, soon. I hope because I have him on some teams, and I hope he comes in and is how amazing how he was in college. So we'll see, but I don't know.
Yeah, I'd say if your league has an IR spot, you got to have him on there. If he's taking up a roster spot, I think he's droppable. I dropped him in a league last week. I really didn't want to, but I had to.
Yeah. Um. All right. Then a question from Lucius. He says, "What do you guys think of Debo and Pittman moving forward? A little worried about them with the changes they've both had in their offenses." Um. God, I'll let you answer.
Yeah, we talked about Debo a little bit, 10 minutes ago. We're not worried about him. I mean, he's going to lose a little bit of his rushing looks, his straight up running back looks, but he's still going to carry his jet sweeps and stuff like that. But I think that the 49ers offense is going to score more, so that's good for Debo Samuel. So I am not downgrading him from this trade at all. Michael Pittman, I don't know, indifferent. He has a couple of receivers really coming on in that offense, and I don't know how many Sam
Ellinger.
Ellinger is going to be able to support.
Paris Campbell looked good last
Paris
week.
Campbell's coming on. Who's the rookie? White guy.
Alec Pierce.
Alec Pierce is coming on.
Mhm.
Taylor's back healthy, and you have Pittman. So, and they always seem to have a tight end that scores a touchdown or two. So,
Yeah.
The Colts, believe it or not, a lot of fantasy mouths to feed, but I'm not worried about Pittman, man. He's a possession receiver, and Ellinger's going to be looking to check the ball down. I like Pittman just fine moving forward.
Yeah, I'll echo that. I like the Debo moving forward. I'm not worried about Debo's production moving forward. Pittman, I mean, whatever. I've been down on the Colts all year, so I'll just stick to my guns and say there that I don't own Pittman anywhere, so I'm really indifferent towards him. But yeah, if you need some help somewhere, I wouldn't mind selling him for something if you need some help. So people do like the Michael Pittman name.
Wide receiver 16 on the year. He's been doing well.
Yeah. All right. Let's move on to a game that I never thought we would ever talk about on the show. The Giants at the Jaguars. The 6-1 now. Is that right? Did I read that right? The 6-1 Giants do it again. They go into Jacksonville. I had a huge bet on the Jags this past week. I thought that was my lock. That was literally my lock of the week. I thought there was no way the Giants were going to do it again. But they went into town and they did it again. Even though the Jaguars outgained them, they outgained them per play. But somehow, somewhere or another, the Giants pull off this victory, upset win on the road. Saquon does his thing. Daniel Jones gets 100 yards rushing. Did I read that right? Yeah, Daniel Jones gets 100 yards rushing. And they do it again. And, the Jaguars also did their thing here. ETN, good game for him. Christian Kirk, another good game for him. Yeah, talk to me about this game.
So this game has two QB1s on the season so far. Daniel Jones, QB9, Trevor Lawrence is QB10. Also in the top 12 QBs are Geno Smith and Marcus Mariota. I hate fantasy football. But yeah, the Giants have quickly become like one of the most annoying teams in the league for me. I just really don't like watching them play. It's so ugly. I hate the way Brian Dable celebrates. For some reason, I just like can't stand to look at them. But anyway, all that counts is W in the win column, and they've been figuring out a way to do it. So good on them. Saquon's the freaking man. He's all the way back. Whoever drafted him in the second round is probably doing pretty good right now. And then shout out to rookie Wan'Dale Robinson. He got schemed open for a touchdown against the Ravens 2 weeks ago, and then he was heavily involved in this pass game. So we'll probably get to him in the waiver wire section, but really, really like him moving forward with the Giants wide receiver core as it is. I mean, I think me or Rick is probably the Giants wide receiver 3 right now.
Yeah, I know, right? Let's see who their wide receiver 3 is. Chris Myarick. I don't know who that is, so Richie James, I don't know who that is either. But yeah, they suck. They have no depth at wide receiver. Because Kenny Galladay is dust, and Kadarius Toney is also dust. So I guess it is what it is. Well, where does Darius Slayton has like 2 good games a year just out of nowhere, and like,
dude, he's been like the last 3 weeks, he's been really solid.
Is he playable? Is he a flex play? Like if you need bye week
during bye weeks, I think he's flex viable. Yes, I mean he's essentially their wide receiver 1 right now.
Yeah, and they play the Seahawks this week, which is should in theory be a high scoring game. I think it's the highest total on the board. So.
Tony hasn't dressed in 4 or 5 weeks. I don't even know is Galladay just healthy scratch these days. Mm-hmm. I don't even know. Okay,
yeah,
so their top 2 wide receivers are Slayton and Wan'Dale Robinson. So
yeah. Okay.
I think Daniel Bellinger just got hurt, right? So he's out. I think he might be out for the year. So,
is he?
I thought he had a pretty serious injury. I didn't follow up to see what actually was, but he got carted off, I believe.
Okay. I guess they can't go back to Evan Ingram then.
Also played in this game, and who's absolutely killing it this year.
Yeah.
I mean, killing it is a strong word. He's been incredibly consistent.
Yeah. 4 for 67 in this game, pretty good. Yeah, I mean he's been a viable tight end this year for sure.
Mm-hmm.
Talk to me about the Jags.
Yep, my man ETN had to wear the shirt. God, he looks so good. I think his lowest yards per carry over the last 3 games is 8. He's absolutely electric. Involved in the passing game. Not so much this week, but in the past couple of weeks he has been. And the craziest stat I think of all of Week 7, uh, besides Mark Andrews having 0 catches, is James Robinson having 0 touches.
Yeah,
They must have known that they
they
must
must
have
have
had
known they were good.
that
Yeah,
trade was lined up, right? So they
yeah,
must
I
have
think
made
so.
that trade before the game. Yeah,
Because he didn't have a carry. I don't think he saw the field. I mean, maybe like on,
I think he had a
uh,
target.
yeah,
The-
yeah, one target. So
Yeah. So
they knew
this
something
is
was up.
this is ETN's backfield. I would be pretty shocked if he doesn't average like 18 to 22 touches a game
Yeah.
from here on out. But I don't know. I think I can only count on one hand how many running backs I'd rather have than Travis Etienne the rest of the season.
Yeah. Very, very exciting times for Travis Etienne owners, I think, especially with I mean, and then to be completely honest with you, I don't mind James Robinson moving forward either. I think he's going to be kind of in a bell cow situation in New York. So I think
Really?
if you yeah, I think so. I think he's going to be the Brees Hall replacement there. I don't think they want to use Michael Carter like that in that way. I think they just want to use him as a pass catching back and whatever Michael Carter does well. So I think James Robinson's a good fantasy play moving forward for the rest of the season as well.
Yeah, I think that's a really important situation to pay attention to. Is
Monitor, yeah.
Yeah, exactly what happens there. I think this week, though, since he doesn't know, Robinson doesn't know the offense yet, I think Carter's a really good play this week. But we'll see moving forward. Tough to tell right now.
This guy says, "If I tell you my team, can you tell me moves to make? I'm 2-5." That's a tough question, man. Yes, you can try to tell us your team, but we can try to give you a couple pieces of advice. But that's a lot for us to get into. But yeah, you can try if you want. We'll see if we can get to it. But
But
yeah,
he actually brought up this has nothing to do with any player or something, but he brought up what I was gonna bring it up this week, and it's as good a time as ever. So if you're 1-6 or 2-5, if you're 0-7, you're probably just done. But if you're like 1-6 or 2-5, do you just have like a F it strategy? Like what do you do? Because I'm asking for a friend. The friend is me. Because I have like 3 leagues right now where I'm like, 2-5,
I mean,
and
you just
do,
I think at that point you just have to do something different, like hit the accept button instead of the reject button on trades. Like I think you just have to make some moves and try to get a different mojo on your team at that point. I mean, what else do you have to lose?
yeah, I was gonna say, I can't prove to you that this works, but I think the strategy I'm gonna employ this year is if I am way out of it, obviously you can't keep doing the same thing, right? You have to do something drastic, and I think my drastic thing to do is I'm going to trade 2 to 3 players that actually start on my team. Like not like bench
Yeah.
warmers that are like eh. Like I'm gonna give 2 or 3 actual starters that would start on most people's teams for like one player. And I'm just gonna take a stand on one player. You know, Jamar Chase, Justin Jefferson, Saquon Barkley, something like that. And then, lock that in and then try to get lucky on my, refill players, like the players I'm picking up from the waivers and whatnot. I feel like that's the only shot you have, right? Because if you're you don't want to just like build depth. You might as well go and try to have like 2 or 3 studs and then just hope your fill-in players work for you.
Well, there's his team. um,
Dude, what? How are you two and
how are you
five
two
with
and five with that
with
team
Saquon and
and Cup
Diggs?
and
Diggs
Cup?
is Diggs is wide receiver 1 so far. Yeah, and you have Kenneth Walker. Wait, well, hold on. Are you in a 6-person league?
Yeah, like is this like a small league or something? Like how could you be 2-5 with that team? I don't get it.
There's no way it's over a 10-person league. I mean, it might be 8 or 10, but dude, I don't think you have to do a whole lot.
I mean,
Um,
your starters are great.
it's a 12-team league. Okay, don't do much of anything. Please don't trade Saquon. Kenneth Walker is amazing. Don't trade Cup. Don't trade Diggs. Don't trade Godwin. I mean,
I just don't understand how you're 2-5. You must have really, really bad luck when it comes to points against.
yeah, I mean your bench kind of sucks because
I
besides
mean,
Bateman and London, your bench is pretty bad. Is that Rashad White? Yeah, don't trade him because I feel like he's about to take over. Um, I don't know, man. I guess well he hasn't had Dak, so maybe he had really bad QB luck, and then I don't know. That's really bad luck that this team is 1-5. I mean 2-5.
Yeah. Yeah, I don't really I don't really know. I don't really know what to say here. I don't know why you're 2-5, but you have a pretty stacked squad.
I
I
guess
don't
I guess it would be because Dak was out, and then Kenneth Walker has really only come on the last 2 weeks. So
yeah. He
I
says
don't know.
he
I
had a
would
regular draft, and I don't even understand in a regular draft in a 12-man league how you get that team. Like, how do you get Diggs, Cup, and Saquon on the same team? That makes no sense.
must have made a trade after the draft. But anyway, what I would do is trade either Bateman or London for a better tight end. Trade
Yeah.
Schultz and Bateman in London and get I don't know Kittle or something like that.
Dallas Goddard.
Dallas Goddard, yeah, something like that. I would just make that trade and then I think now that everyone's healthy and you have that roster, you're probably a top three favorite. So
Yeah.
just ride it out.
All right. Moving on. Let's talk about the Atlanta Falcons at the Cincinnati Bengals. The Bengals win this game 35-17. It was the first game of the year that the Atlanta Falcons did not cover the spread.
Really?
Bengals looked really good in this game. This Jamar Chase guy is pretty amazing. Joe Burrow to Jamar Chase, play him every week you can in DFS if you can. Stack them up against bad defenses. They will light you up. Tyler Boyd, big game out of the blue. T. Higgins, nice game. Joe Burrow's continuing to prove that he can support multiple wide receivers.
Three of
So,
them to be
yeah,
exact.
yeah, three of them. Even Hayden Hurst got involved. So, yeah, talk to me about this game.
Yeah, Joe Burrow, QB3 on the year. Guy's absolute stud. Tyler Boyd, officially hate him. In our league that we play together, Rick, the Big Money League, I meant to play Tyler Boyd and literally just forgot to set my lineup, and I would have won, but instead I lost. I'm pretty salty about that. But anyway, the Bengals, I think, they're tied for the Ravens for first. They're warming up, man. They had a slow start to the year, but here they come. This offense is ridiculous. I think I'll say T. Higgins is one of my favorite buys right now. I like buying good players on a team when they didn't have the best week, amongst their teammates. So like everyone sees Boyd and Chase in this box score, and it's a Jamar Chase week, right? But Higgins had a great game too. And next week, it's just going to be flip flopped. So I think it's a great time to go get T. Higgins because he had a great game, but it was the third best game as receiver on his own team. So yeah, and then on Atlanta's side, Tyler Algier is looking pretty nice. Not gonna run away from anyone, but I mean he's proving that he's like a really solid like top end RB3 flex play.
What do you think his role is when Patterson comes back?
Is Patterson coming back this week or next week?
I don't know the answer to that, but soon, either this week or next week.
I mean, I think he's kind of earned to at least see the field. I
Yeah.
don't know that he's startable when I wouldn't start him. No, when Patterson comes back. Um, to be honest, I don't know that anyone besides Patterson is startable when Patterson comes back
Yeah.
because Mariota threw the ball 13 times. I don't know. Arthur Smith is he like on the verge of? I would say like on the verge of getting fired, but I don't even know that they deserve to have 3 wins right now.
I don't think he's
Just
on the verge of getting fired.
not getting
They were pretty good. They were pretty good this year so far. I mean, they haven't been bad.
not getting Kyle Pitts and Drake London the ball is just crazy. And it's like it's very obvious that he got mad at Marcus Mariota a couple weeks ago because they run the ball like 23 straight plays or something like that. But yeah, and it's just if you don't like Mariota, then play Ritter. Play someone else. Like I don't get it. You have two, 6'4" speedster weapons, and he absolutely refuses with every inch of his body to throw the ball.
Is So is Kyle Pitts not getting involved, or is he just not good?
He was tight end 6 last year as a 19-year-old rookie. He's good at football.
Okay. I'm just not a Kyle Pitts believer. He just doesn't get the ball.
Dude, he's I'm not a draft tight ends early person, and this year I kind of sort of became one, but only for Kyle Pitts, and I think that's why I'm not having a great year.
Yeah, yeah, Ryan. Me and Chris are different on this. Chris says be patient with Pitts. I say trade him if you can. Honestly, like, I mean, to be completely honest with you, like the tight end position is weird. Like anybody beyond like Kelsey, Andrews, Goddard. I mean, beyond those guys, like I can't even think of anyone else that's like reasonably consistent. Maybe Goddard,
Kittle.
maybe Higby, even Kittle's like whatever. Like anybody beyond that, it's just like such a coin flip. It's like take your shot. Like it doesn't matter. So until somebody proves some sort of consistency, it's going to be that tier one of Andrews and Kelsey, and then the rest of the league. So tight end's been a really tough position, like it is always every year. So I don't know.
I know there hasn't even really been like um that late round. I guess the late round hits this year were Njoku, Gerald Everett. Uh, I mean Taysom Hill's tight end 3 right now. Who saw that coming? That's just wild. But
It's
yeah,
weird.
but besides Kelsey and Andrews, no one that you drafted early is paying off. I mean, Goddard kind of, but not really.
Yeah.
I don't know what to do with tight end, man. I feel like, yeah, if you don't get Kelsey or Andrews, just don't even draft one and just stream it every week.
Alrighty. I don't really got much else from this game. You want to talk about Joe Mixon a little bit? I mean, what are our feelings about Joe Mixon?
He's just like the most uninteresting player in the NFL. I don't know. He just like
He was so good last year, though. Like you
he
can't like give
he
up on him.
no, he's fine. He's like what? Let me see. He's probably like running back 12. I feel like he's running back 11. He finishes
He's been running back 11 his
well
whole
for
career.
11 years. He literally is like so uninspiring. He just like lives in the RB10 to RB14 range every year, and not that that's bad. It's just like he is what he is. He gets 80 yards and a touchdown every game.
Yeah,
Congratulations.
yeah, which is weird because I feel like he was such an explosive player in college. I feel like maybe he's just being underused a little bit in the NFL. But
Next year he's Zeke. Mark my words.
yeah,
He's gonna.
that could be true. Alrighty, we're caught up on questions here. Let's move on to our next game here. The surprising 4-3 Seattle Seahawks go into LA and beat up on the Los Angeles Chargers. Seahawks do their thing again. Kenneth Walker just incredible. He was in the Millie Maker lineup last week. He was just absolute fire. Um, Good, looking like a good draft pick by the Seahawks there. With DK Metcalf going down, Marquise Goodwin comes out of nowhere, scores 2 touchdowns. He could be somebody you could potentially talk about waiver wire this week if Metcalf sits again, or if Metcalf sits because of his injury. And then on the other side of the ball, big injury for the Chargers. Mike Williams goes down. He looks like he has an ankle sprain. He's going to be out for a few weeks. Keenan Allen comes back after a lengthy break and puts up a dud. And Austin Eckler pretty much is their whole offense.
Yes, sir. Yeah, Austin Eckler, RB1 by a very wide margin in PPR leagues so far this year. So that is pretty much one of the only first round running backs that's actually paying off. Trying to think if anyone else did. I mean, I guess Mixon kind of, sort of, maybe. But yeah.
I mean, Saquon was the first round running back.
Yeah, second. Yeah, but you're right. Yeah, he's paying off too. But it's like all the guys near the top are just like flaming out. But yeah, Eckler in the PPR league, absolute gold. Their whole offense runs through him.
Yeah.
But yeah, Mike Williams out for unknown amount of time, but high ankle sprains are, super, you don't know, especially for players that, like to jump and get off the ground in a way like Mike Williams does. So it's a good time to own Keenan Allen. Good time to own Austin Eckler. And Gerald
Which answers our question right here. Do I trade Devin Singletary for Keenan Allen in PPR? Yes.
yes,
Yes.
yesterday.
Yeah, you should do that yesterday. Absolutely.
Why'd you not accept it already?
Yeah.
Yeah, please. Especially with the, I mean, I think you do that even before the Mike Williams injury. The Williams injury, yeah, it's locked that up. That's a great trade for you. Yeah, with the Seahawks side of the ball, Kenneth Walker is the RB2 over the last 2 weeks. Guy just looks absolutely amazing. The knock on him coming into the NFL was he doesn't catch the ball. I really don't care because neither does Nick Chubb, and he's also awesome. So when you're just as talented of a runner as Nick Chubb and Kenneth Walker, and that was, I believe, when we did our rookie show, who I comped Kenneth Walker to was Nick Chubb.
Yeah.
You just, it doesn't matter if you don't catch the ball because they have elite running skills. So and the Seahawks want to run the ball as many times as possible. So he's in a great spot. He's definitely paying off for you for sure. DK Metcalf, it was once thought that he had a season-ending injury, but now seeing like
Looks like he might play this week.
he has a questionable tag for this week. So
Yeah.
I don't know what's going on with that. I doubt he'll play this week or maybe the next week too. But absolutely fire up Tyler Lockett. He has the GOAT, Geno Smith, at quarterback. So I own a shit ton of Tyler Lockett, so I'm pretty boosted by this.
I just traded for him in Big Baller just to play you this week.
Oh, thanks. Appreciate that. I didn't even notice.
Did you see that trade I made?
No,
I had to
what'd you do?
something different. I traded Jalen Hurts and Dallas Goedert for Trevor Lawrence, Tyler Lockett, Gus Edwards, and Gerald Everett.
So you went the you want more depth route.
I just needed to do something different.
something different.
I mean, me and you are in last place, next to last place, and last place in that league, and we're playing each other
I know.
this week.
Come watch our fantasy show. The league we're in together. We're at 11th and 12th.
You know
place.
what? I'm so pissed at you because you picked up Kirk Cousins, and I wanted to pick him up this week, and you outbid me on him. I was so pissed at that.
Gotcha.
Now I
gotcha.
have to face him.
Yep. So yeah, what were we talking about? Yeah. So Tyler Lockett, what wide receiver is he so far this year? I feel like he's going to
He's
be like top 10.
Top 10 for sure.
He is. Where'd he go? Oh man, he must be having. He's number 18 now. So
That's
on
surprising.
a little bit of a skid, but yeah, that's okay. I still think he's a nice buy with Metcalf out. So I have a decision to make in a league this week where I have my tight ends on bye, and it's a really deep league, so there's no tight ends. Would you start Will Disley or Noah Fant?
Probably Noah Fant.
I picked up Disley.
You don't have anyone else to. You don't have like
Dude.
K. Dotton or
Nothing.
or
It's like a
Jawan Johnson, somebody
no,
like that.
it's a dynasty league and it's really deep and there's for some I both of my tight ends are on bye. So I don't know how that worked out, but yeah. So I was like, man, what a life. I have to pick up Will Disley or Noah Fant.
Oh man, you can't get Irv Smith.
No.
The Cardinals
I
are so bad at guarding against the tight end.
I know, which is surprising since they have Simmons, like Clemson's coverage linebacker. Yeah, so I think we've beat this game into the ground. DJ Dallas, I think he's kind of an intriguing pickup. I picked him up in a couple leagues just to see what for what.
Yeah, I mean, it's like just like what is his? I don't know what his role is really. In this
I mean,
football.
DJ
Pass
Dallas
catching
was.
back?
Yeah, he was a receiver in college. He's a pass catching back. Kenneth Walker can't catch at all. So,
Yeah.
I don't know. I was just kind of curious to see how they use him. Hold on to him for a week or two. He was pretty efficient with his touches. I don't know. If Kenneth Walker were to get banged up, I think he's a decent handcuff. So.
Okay. Yeah, I just don't know much about like DJ. I always feel like it's Travis Homer, but maybe I'm wrong about that.
I think Homer's on he's on IR still.
Oh, okay. Yeah. Okay, yeah. And if you need a flex kind of running back situation for your bad buy situation, I guess that could be a play potentially in a high scoring game. Okay, last game that we're going to talk about this week is the Chiefs going into San Francisco and throttling them 44-23. The Chiefs do their thing here. Patrick Mahomes, 400 yards passing. Juju Smith-Schuster and Marquez Valdes-Scantling both had 100 yards catching. Travis Kelce did his thing. Pacheco looked great on the ground. Clyde Edwards-Helaire got mixed in a little bit, scored a touchdown. I mean, I don't know how you feel about the Chiefs here, but like outside of Mahomes and Kelsey, everyone, he just knows how to spread the ball around. So it's tough to pinpoint who's going to be the guy that week. I mean, McCole Hardman had 3 touchdowns or whatever he had. Um, but yeah, it's tough to pinpoint who to play on that team outside of those two guys and Juju, I guess, maybe.
Right. Agree. It's we said this that the Chiefs are such a high flying offense, but they don't really have a other than Mahomes and CEH and I guess now Pacheco. They don't have anyone that you can definitely start. Obviously Kelsey. Hold on, I'm just having an audio problem real quick. But so rest of season, pick one for me: Pacheco or CEH.
Hmm, that's a good question. I don't know. Did Pacheco get his play time this past week when they were up big?
No, he got the first carry of the game.
He got the first carry of the game. I guess Pacheco maybe. Maybe he does look pretty dynamic. When I saw the couple carries in that game, and he looked pretty good. So I guess Pacheco.
Yeah, it's a tough one. I guess in a PPR league, I might lean CH, but this was kind of a weird storyline for me this week because I feel like CH wasn't having a terrible year, but the Chiefs came out just in the middle of the week and released that Pacheco will get all first string snaps during practice and be the starter. Like that was just a very odd thing to say on like a Wednesday.
Yeah.
So I don't know if there's something going on behind the scenes and CH is in a doghouse for some reason, but how many times do you see a team just come out and say that on like a Tuesday or a Wednesday? It was just I found it to be pretty odd.
Yeah, I don't really understand that. What
But
about
yeah,
the 49ers side of the ball?
yeah. McCaffrey, I think this week coming up is going to be the week that he finally take the reins. He had the most carries on the team, but not by much, and they were certainly spreading the ball around on the ground. But I think he'll have an extra week to get used to the Shanahan offense, and I think he's going to get right back to his 15 plus touch game standard there. But yeah, 49ers are kind of frustrating fantasy wise to me, at least, because they do spread the ball around so much that there's a limited amount of people that can really be impactful. And now they have so many good players, it's just there's gonna be duds just by the nature of it. You have McCaffrey, Kittle, Ayuk, Debo. Hopefully they'll phase out Jeff Wilson. He stinks. Tyrion Davis Price just isn't going to be a thing this year.
Yeah.
So what's up? What's up with Jimmy G? Is he hurt? Did they just bench him to finish out the game? What happened there? I didn't watch the end of this game.
I think he got benched because they're getting blown out. Like it wasn't an injury thing.
Okay, just making sure because yep, I like him a lot the rest of the year. McCaffrey can take any dump off to the house. So can Debo. So can Ayuk. So can Kittle. I mean, this is Garoppolo literally has to do nothing besides not fuck up. So
not turn off ball over.
yeah, I mean he has like besides a punter, he has like the greatest job in the NFL. Just like throw 5-yard passes all game.
Yeah. Ryan asks, is Juju a sell high?
I have not considered that because I own 0 Juju because I think he's really not good. Okay, let's figure it out. Let's see
What
who
is
we
he?
should
What is he on the year? Wide receiver.
wide receiver 19.
19?
Let's hear our players.
Why don't we just ask
Well,
it right? We just said it. Tyler Lockett or Juju Smith-Schuster. I'd rather have
Tyler
Lockett.
Lockett's 18. I'd rather have Lockett as well.
I'd rather have Lockett for the rest of the year.
Yep. So I'm trying to look at players that are below. So I'll look at players below Juju's standing so far in the year that I'd much rather have, and it's like not close. So T Higgins. Um, Let me see. Amon Ra's healthy, right? He's back.
He's back. Yeah, I would much rather him. But like,
Yeah.
no one's trading you Amon Ra for Juju Smith-Schuster.
You don't think?
No, I don't think
Okay.
so. No way.
Okay.
That would be.
Well,
I mean, if you can do that, if you can trade Juju for Amon Ra St. Brown, I would do that.
I'm just saying, coming off the big week, you never know. So here's the trades that I would offer and just see what happens. So straight up, or you can just add a little bit something on the side. But try to turn Juju into T Higgins somehow, Juju into Amon Ra somehow. Um, I don't know. Who do you like, Juju or Deontay Johnson? I guess I'd rather have Juju there.
I would rather have Juju there. I just think just the quarterback play is going to naturally get him the ball more
Ooh,
than.
here's a fun one that I feel like it could be like a pretty risky move, but it might pay off. Juju for DJ Moore, if DJ Moore like were to get traded.
Um, that's interesting that you say that DJ Moore coming off of a season best game. I probably would still lean with Mahomes over throwing to him
Yeah.
than PJ Walker throwing to him. I mean, you can't make that trade based on the thinking that DJ Moore is going to get traded. Like, you just can't do that. Like, you would probably have to hold on to Juju there.
Hmm.
Now, if DJ Moore gets traded to, I don't know, the Eagles or something like that, then that's a whole different story. But um, yeah, but for just the purposes of this show, I'll just say Juju there.
Yeah, I don't know. I would say if you can Juju plus something for T Higgins. All right, here's one last question, and we'll put a Bills player in there. Rest of season, Juju or Gabe Davis?
Hmm. That's a very tough question. I don't know. Um, it looks like Stephon Diggs just eats in that offense, and Gabe Davis just has once in a while these blow up games. Um, I would probably lean Gabe Davis just because he has that boom bust potential, and just rest of the season, I think he's going to be fine. So probably Gabe Davis.
So there's our two answers. Try to sell Juju plus something else small for Higgins, or Juju for Gabe Davis straight up.
Yeah.
Let's go make those moves.
Kanye West here, after getting canceled in real life, is commenting on our football show. What's up, Yeezy? He says I just got Najee. He's asking. I mean, Kanye West asking us for fantasy football advice. That's pretty crazy. Just got Najee Harris for. I'm looking. It says Michael Thomas.
MT.
Win or loss. That's a big W for me.
I mean,
I mean, I don't know who's making these trades, but okay.
but hold on. Najee Harris is he the like single worst running back in the NFL right now? Like he is so bad. I'm trying to recall the stat I heard on him today, and I did not want to believe it.
But is he bad because of that offense, or is he bad just because
Dude,
he's bad?
but a little bit of it just doesn't matter.
Yeah, true.
Um, dude, okay, let me answer your question directly instead of freaking out. If you can get Najee Harris for Michael Thomas, you do it all day and twice on Sunday. But man, he's been so disappointing. But yeah, good trade because Michael Thomas doesn't play.
Yeah, Michael Thomas does not play, and when he does, he's not any good. So, yeah. Let's see. We're done wrapping up games, so I'm just gonna answer this last question here.
Najee Harris's highest yards per carry in any game through 7 weeks is 4.1.
Yeah, it's pretty gross. Mo Diesel says, "Am I winning this year? Half PPR, 12 man, lists his team. Uh, I guess yes, you're winning. I don't know. Yes, you're winning the championship this year, Mo.
Who? Let me see. David Carr, Chubb and Walker's nice. Evans, AJ Brown, Goddard, ETN, Cooks. Yeah, you have a nice team. You listed Rashad White twice. I like him a lot too.
Lock up the championship, Mo.
Yeah.
You're gonna win. All right.
No, I was gonna say that I don't know. I have this sneaking suspicion, even though Leonard Fournette's like RB6 on the year, he looks so bad. Like I don't know. He is
Who?
just
Who?
so
Who you say?
Leonard Fournette.
Oh yeah.
I think Leonard Fournette. So I have him listed as a sell high. I know he's just been having targets just like shoved down his throat, and he's catching all of them, like 6 or 7 balls a game. I just don't think he looks good, and I just can't see him holding up for the rest of the year. And when Rashad White gets in the game, he looks pretty good and
Yeah.
spry. So I don't know when that's going to happen, but it's going to happen. So I'm team sell Fournette,
Okay.
especially if you can get something pretty nice for him, since he is having he's scoring fantasy points at a decent clip right now.
Yeah. All right. We are done recapping games. Do you have anything else to mention from week 7 that you want to talk about? You want to talk about um, how bad the Packers are? You want to talk about anything else in the league? Tua coming back, the Bears beating up on the Patriots. I'm just running through these, looking at these other games. Anything else?
Justin Fields, 3 straight weeks of, let me look it up real quick. Justin Fields, what QB ranking do you think he is the past 3 weeks?
I mean, I know he's been good the last 3 weeks. I think he's like top 10 for sure.
I think he's top five. Let me see.
Yeah.
He is number 4.
Yeah.
Yeah, dude. I mean, so what do you think there? I picked him up in a couple leagues, like couple 1 QB leagues, just to see if he keeps this up.
I mean, just it's there. Like if they are utilizing him correctly, it looks like he's throwing the ball right. It looks like he's running the ball well. I mean, if you're in a 2 QB league, he's not a terrible QB2 to have. I probably wouldn't start him at QB1, but QB2 is fine.
Right. Yeah. You said about the Packers sucking. AJ Dillon is probably my biggest swing and miss of the year.
Me too.
I was drafting AJ Dillon everywhere I possibly could. I thought he was an outstanding like RB3 to target
Yep.
on teams because I went pretty running back early this year, which also sucked. But I was like, man, if I can get AJ Dillon as my RB3, I am set. And I don't know what it is, man. They just don't want to use him. This is wild because at the end of the year last year, he was their man.
They're not even
And
using him at the goal line where he did his damage last year.
something's weird with the Packers, but yep. Kyle Pitts and AJ Dillon, my 2 biggest swing and misses, and have a lot of them, and it doesn't feel good right now.
Yeah. Yeah, I don't really have any other takeaways. Anybody else you want to talk about before we talk about waivers real quick, as far as sell highs or buy lows or anything like that in the league?
I just think it's cool that Lamar Jackson's 5th in the NFL in rushing. It doesn't even feel like it. Like I feel like he's just having like a ho hum year.
Buy low on Lamar.
Why not? Yeah, I mean he's had a couple down weeks, but I mean we have not seen anywhere close to MVP Lamar, and we know he has it in there. Um, yeah, I think Lamar's a decent buy low if you can call buying like the QB
I,
7
I
low.
did want to ask about one person who I just randomly just thought about right now just because I saw his name show up here on my screen. Dalvin Cook. What are your thoughts about Dalvin Cook? Because he's having a kind of like a ho hum year. He had one really good breakout game this year. He's on a pretty good offense. Vikings are playing pretty well. Is he a candidate that you would trade for? I mean, if you can, like, or is he someone you're thinking about selling?
Absolutely, I would trade for him. I mean, he has 4 touchdowns in his last 4 games. Um, he hasn't had less. Let me see. He's only had less than 17 carries twice this year. His
So
total.
the volume is there when he's on the field, right? Like when he's healthy, the
Yeah,
volume is there.
absolutely. He's getting about 2 or 3 catches a game. Yeah, I see nothing wrong with this. And the Vikings have been better than advertised as well. So,
Yeah, I
yeah.
agree with that.
Yeah, I mean, he's one of those players. It's like, the lust has worn off, right? Dalvin Cook was cool like 2 years ago,
I mean, he was
And
the number one overall pick 2 years ago, or like 3 years ago.
exactly. And it's
Yeah,
like fantasy is so weird because, once we talk about players for like 2, 3, 4 years, people like they're not sexy or cool anymore. So
yeah,
people don't want them. And I feel like Dalvin Cook has now hit that. Zeke hit it last year. Dalvin Cook's hitting it now. Like no one wants them because they're just not the cool name. They're not, Kenneth Walker, ETN, or Brees Hall or something like that. So, yeah, I think that's the perfect time to take advantage of that. I mean, I think he's having a better season than people think.
okay. That was the only guy I wanted to ask about. But all right, let's talk about some waivers real quick and wrap up the show. You want to throw some running back names out there for us to monitor on the waiver wire?
Yeah. So a move I like making this week is the Chiefs are on bye, so I think a decent amount of people might drop Pacheco because they picked him up because they thought he was going to get the start, and people have too high of expectations. They thought he should have 15 carries for 100 yards and a touchdown. That didn't happen, and they need a player this week, so they're going to drop him. I think he's a nice pickup if you have the room on your bench to stash him to see how after they go through their bye, how they rearrange their backfield. You never know. Maybe he just has that kind of more workhorse role coming out of the bye. So I like the pickup of Pacheco if he's dropped during your waivers tonight or tomorrow, whenever your waivers run.
Yeah,
Another one I like is Algier, kind of for this week only.
yeah.
If Patterson doesn't come back, I like him in his spot this week. So. Um, and then
I think that the obvious
obviously
name.
Michael Carter if he's
Oh,
there.
okay. I was gonna
Yeah.
say I was gonna say somebody else, but okay, yeah, Michael Carter. Um, I don't know. I'm not a huge fan of Michael Carter moving forward, but this week maybe because James Robinson needs some time to get acclimated to the offense, so maybe this week only. But yeah, I don't mind that. But obviously, the big name I think if he's available, which according to Yahoo, he is available in less than 50% of leagues, is Gus Edwards. If he's available, I would pick him up right away. I think that's a no-brainer. I would spend the rest of your fab on him if you can, or whatever you need to do. I think he's a good pickup for the rest of the year. Deontay Foreman, I don't know, man. Like the Panthers are just kind of, even though they won last week, like they're kind of a mess. Like I don't know. Do you have any thoughts on him?
I feel like a lot of people would have picked him up last week. No, like when when
I mean,
when
I
CMC
mean,
was traded.
on my list right now, he's available in less than 50% of leagues, or more than 50% of Yahoo leagues.
Okay, yeah, I dig that. He's kind of the RB1, and I think Chuba Hubbard got hurt, if I'm remembering correctly.
Yeah,
I don't. So yeah, I like Foreman as a pickup. I think I might even prioritize him over Algier because
yeah,
Foreman will have a role for the rest of the year.
yeah. And I
But
think
Gus Edwards easily over both of those people we just talked about. But I prefer Michael Carter to Gus Edwards. That me personally.
okay, and I think we're both in lockstep about Rashad White if he's available. And you can stash him. I would pick.
Yep, I have had Rashad White on my bench on 4 or 5 teams and have yet to play him, and I'm trying to wait as patiently as possible, but it's getting hard.
Okay.
But the time is coming. Yeah.
All right, wide receivers.
Not a whole lot out there that I'm super excited about. Wandale Robinson is probably the person I'm looking to add most, just because the Giants do not have an established wide receiver 1 or 2 or 3 or anything, and their tight end just got hurt, so a lot of valuable snaps coming up in the slot for Wandale Robinson. He's looked really good. I don't know. I love watching him play. I feel like they're using him the way the Cardinals should be using Rondale Moore. The super explosive slot receiver that you just scheme the ball into their hands. So I like Wandale Robinson. Tell me who I'm missing.
I think Jameson Williams is the big name for me. If he's available, pick him up.
Yep.
We just don't know what his injury situation is and when he's going to come back. But when he does, I think he's going to be explosive, and I think he's going to be pretty valuable in that offense. So I think he's a good pick up to stash if you can. Paris Campbell also maybe a little bit. We don't really know what we're going to get out of Sam Ellinger, but I think he's going to be good. So I think that offense could be humming under him. So Paris Campbell and Jameson Williams are my two big names at wide receiver.
Yeah, I dig that. Marquise Goodwin, don't go there. I think that's fool's gold.
Yeah, I agree with that. I mean, he could be a 1 week play if Metcalf sits this week. I mean, I don't mind that just because the Giants' defense is pretty shitty. So maybe, um, but yeah, I not for like long-term use. Maybe 1 week if you need it.
Right. Yeah, that's fair.
You have any thoughts on tight ends? Nothing really. Yeah, I don't really have.
I mean, they're all terrible. Streaming this week, you
Dulcich,
talked about it.
I like Dulcich. Dulcich.
Yeah, Dulcich is a nice stream. And Irv Smith is a nice stream this week. Coming off the bye, playing Arizona. I absolutely love Irv Smith, but maybe it sounds too good to be true. Like coming off the bye, playing Arizona. But yeah. So Irv Smith, my number one stream. If you're super, super desperate, it looks like Njoku is going to miss a couple weeks. So you could play, oh God, help me out here.
Harrison Bryant.
Harrison Bryant. If you're super desperate, but that would have to be a pretty deep league.
Is it Harrison Bryant or is it that other guy?
Yeah, Harrison Bryant.
It's Harrison Bryant. Okay.
Yeah, and I guess Juwan Johnson. I mean, I would say like the 2 touchdown week is fluky, but I don't know that it is. I mean, he's kind of been low key involved all year.
Yeah.
I mean, nice little player here. He's not old. He's coming into his own.
Especially when Michael Thomas out. Like I like Juwan Johnson.
Yeah, his targets for the year each game. He's very involved. 5, 7, 1, 4, 2, 6, 5. Yeah, I dig that. And scored 2 touchdowns this past week. Could do worse than Juwan Johnson.
All right. You got anything else before we wrap up the show? Anything else you want to talk about?
No, man. Just excited to be back after 4 or 5 weeks off, and let's make some drastic moves. I know I'm before I go to sleep tonight, I'm going to send out some trade offers to see if I on my teams that I'm not doing so well in, to see if I can get back into the swing of things. So all of you out there, if you're 2-5 or worse, send something crazy. What do you got to lose, right? Send your third, fourth, and fifth best player for a good player, and see what happens. You never know.
Yeah. Alrighty, guys. If you were new to the show this week, please like, comment, and subscribe to Nickel City Mafia. Really appreciate all the questions and everyone that joined in on the chat. Appreciate all the support out there. We're over 1,000 subscribers. We're trying to march towards 2,000 subscribers. It would be nice if we can get there within the next few months. And we'll be back for week 8 recap next week. And looking forward to week 9 next week. You guys enjoy your week in football, and we'll be back next week.
All right. See you, Britt.
See ya.
Bye.